Yay.
That's good.
Yes. I'm glad. All right.
Yeah. I think we're going here. I
Yeah,
don't
we're
know
live.
what. Oh, I guess I have to start it.
Power and sex. That's what this case is about. It didn't matter what obstacles she had to remove to get what she wanted. And if it was a person, it didn't matter how. All I want is money, power, and I think I'm money, power. All I want is money, power, and I think I'm
Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty. Dated this 12th day of May, 2023, signed by the presiding officer.
They got the bitch.
Well, hello. Good morning. I'm kidding. How's it going, everybody? Just flying by my seat like always. I feel like that air conditioner gets louder and louder every damn week. It probably is. So, how's it going? How about all them bad Mormons? just saying, there's a pattern. There seems to be a damn pattern. And it's pretty it's it's good. It makes my eye twitch. Y'all, what makes the eye twitch all the time? I've been drinking pickle juice because I thought that I haven't had time to look. But it makes anyways, my eye's been twitching. We can Google it up. I was like, don't tell me that, Dolly Q. You're talking about Mormon, the Mormon trend, and hopefully, and not my eye twitching. Right? Right, Dolly? Oh man. Oh God, yeah. Sherilyn. Oh, long time ago. Yeah, thinking about starting a whole secondary channel with Mormon murder and mystery and mayhem because there's a lot. There's a lot to start a whole damn channel. So I don't know. Oh, thank you, Miss Mojo Rising. And it's YouTube. I found it like you can use it for free. It's like it comes with the songs. It's no copyright. So I was like, oh hell yeah, that's perfect. That one and they call me a god, the God Complex. Oh, I was like, okay, I'll do that. That one song says money and power. It doesn't say money, power, and sex. So that's okay. We all know we have good imaginations, right? Oh, thank you, Trace. This is the channel. There's definitely a lot of murder and abuse going on. And I it's weird. This is just something I'm going to put out there that really disturbs me bad. That would be that Jody Hildebrandt, I already forgot. You know, Frankie and their names really jack me up, okay? You know, it took me about 12 hours just to not even get it still because Ruby and Jody's a therapist. Tom Harrison, who wrote Visions of Glory, is a therapist who works with Tim Ballard. David Hamblin is a therapist. That's who else? Then you have Zalima, who is a freaking whatever, a self-proclaimed life coach / snuggler, cuddler, hustler. I don't know. Then you have like Jackie Clement, you know, she's an energy worker. I'm really trying to think. Then with David Hamblin, you know, I got the docs and everything for the FOIA, the grandma request. Yeah, she did, Janet, I do believe. Temporarily. Well, and she had lost it temporarily a while back, but then I don't know. I don't think she needs one, in my opinion. And she's a professional and I'm not, and I can see that a mile away, right? Oh my, that's scary. That's scary because these people are screw. They're like, you go to them for counseling. You know, like there's ethics. There's a code of ethics that are higher. I mean, you're not supposed to discuss that stuff with anybody. Yet she has. And that's Jody. And then I wouldn't be able to do that job because I'd have to at least tell my I'd have to tell Jason and be like, oh, you know. But anyways, it's just a weird trend. I want to find this this email real quick so I can kind of. Katie H sent me a ton of links as always, and I thank her. Thank you so much for that, Katie. You rock. I mean, she can find them. That is for sure. And I really do admire that. Okay, let's see. It would be this one or this one. Hold on. Hold on, just one. Hold on. It's hard to tell which ones I read and which ones I didn't. Oh, here. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I did talk to somebody also. Hold on. I'm just going to ramble. That's what I do whenever I'm busy. Why can't I find it? Let's see. This one? Yeah. I do believe. Yeah, I don't ever look at my emails on my computer. So it's like foreign to me. I'm like, what? It's just like looking at Facebook, you know? I'm like, wait, what? Everything's moved. I'm not a big emailer. Oh, okay. It opened up. All right. And so she was sending me some links and everything and I was like, you know who this therapist reminds me of? Tom Harrison, Spencer from Visions of Glory. I am so repulsed that he is a child therapist who, get this, helps, I call him Timmy Ballard. Tim Ballard with all those fake children he claims to have rescued or claims to rescue, you know? Uh, anyways. And I was like, I shit you not. And you know how these people, Ballard, Jim Caviezel, Julie Rowe, others who are big on this adrenochrome idea, they say that when a child is being trafficked or the R word, or I don't know, it makes me think of the last moments that Tylee and JJ experienced just before they were murdered. You know how, I was about to go off in my own little thing, but let me just follow the script here. Or all the times we heard in the text exchange between those murderous assholes who were all about turning up the pain, right? It was all about cranking the pain up. And other weird shit. It makes me believe that Timmy Ballard, Thomas Harrison, this therapist Jody, Zalima is a life coach. It's basically the same line of business that Jason Mao is doing. You know, he's a public speaker. He's a guru, allegedly, kind of, and he works for the church. He got a promotion. Jason Mao, okay, the therapist David Hamblin, who is the therapist and accused of countless SA crimes, including the use of religious symbolism and peyote usage in his Native American religious ceremonies. I paid for the Gramafoya docs from his case, and I can only read them in small chunks because of the outlandish nature and nightmarish details that his victims have reported. It is absolutely disturbing. You're like, what? It just doesn't seem so far out of the realm of possibilities here. Okay, so just follow me on this. I said David Hamblin is connected to none other than David Levitt. That's the former Utah County prosecuting attorney. Levitt ran against Sean Reyes, which kind of, it does confuse me because they're both evil a-holes anyways, in my opinion. So I just assumed they played on the same team. Sean Reyes is BFFs with Tim Ballard, and Sean Reyes is the Utah Attorney General, which is freaking, that Utah is, I wouldn't, God bless y'all, but it's so corrupt. I can see it maybe, but because I'm on the outside, you know, and it's easier to see, but I don't know. I just, whew. And okay, yeah, let me follow my thought. And not lose my place. And then I put Tim Ballard is friends with Tom Harrison. Thomas Harrison is Spencer from Visions of Glory. Tom talks about all the feel-good things that one experiences when they serve others. Oxytocin, I think, yeah, serotonin, etc. As per Tim Ballard in a presentation he was speaking at, Tom Harrison, Timmy Ballard are buds with Jason Mao also. Okay. Jason Mao and Tim Ballard posed for pictures at a Firm Foundation Expo. Firm Expo. I have the screenshots. Jason Mao is who, through Melanie Gibb, set Chad and Lori up and sealed them in the temple. Chad Daybell was a regular speaker at these Mormon conferences who featured other infamous LDS members such as Eric Mutzos, Rod Meldrum, Sean, Terry Scabby is his real name, Little Bear, Sean Little Bear, Dean Sessions, David Warwick, who has been working with Thomas Harrison. They're OGs, okay? And Abraham Gigliotti. And Abraham Gigliotti is one of the September 6th. And it was 6 Mormons that were excommunicated in the month of September, sometime in the early 90s, okay? Wikipedia, look it up. I don't know it verbatim, but and so they were all like excommunicated for just various degrees of apostasy. One of them was Natasha. John Dehlin always talks about her. She's I want to say a therapist too. Starts with H. Anyways, but the thing is with Abraham, okay, he one of the September 6th, right? And then he was invited back into the good graces of the church, and he enjoys his temple membership to this very day. And, we have Thor Furuseth, Mike and Nancy James, Utah Senator Mike Lee, who recently, and y'all know I'm not political. I'm just following who, it's pocket pool. Basically, it's circle jerk. They stand in a circle and they're just like, hey, they network. It's a big thing. Okay. So Senator Mike Lee, who has recently been endorsing none other than Glenn Beck to run for president. Glenn Beck created the Nazarene Fund to fund Tim Ballard's entire Operation Underground Railroad. $1 million. But many are unaware that Tim Ballard has stepped down from OUR before the release of his movie about child sex trafficking. Many are unaware that Glenn Beck, who has the support of Mike Lee, who has the support of Sean Reyes, who has the support of Donald Trump, and served in his administration as a leader for whatever that department's called, that would try to prevent human trafficking in the U.S. In the U.S., right? In the U.S. Not the way Ballard is portraying here in his movie, The Sound of Freedom. He travels to third world countries and puts on these high-profile events or ride-alongs, right? Where rich Mormons and other elite people pay to experience Ballard's his operation, his stings, to save these millions, okay, of sex traffic victims. And he raises money for those children, wink, wink, which is where Thomas Harrison supposedly steps in as the righteous therapist that they say he is, and he helps heal the brain of the child who just went through this fearful trauma, right? They just were, anyways. I highly doubt any of this shit is true. They say that fear produces these hormones that can be extracted from the blood of these children, Tylee and JJ. And this is the whole adrenochrome thing that they all talk about. I suspect, I don't know. Just as the church claims to be the only true church in the world, sells everybody salvation, right? They stand in between their customer and their product. So Ballard claims to be saving children from being trafficked, but I allege that he and his elitist buddies are preying upon them instead. Do you see what I'm saying? And you'll get it with this case. You've seen it with Lori and Chad, the projection from every one of these people. Melanie Gibb, David Warwick, Salima, they all project onto everybody else. Everybody. And I mean, it's crazy. Nothing is ever their fault. They never take account. They never take they never own up to it ever. They're not going to. It's the craziest thing. And I see that with Ruby. She projects everything that she hates about herself onto her children. So that's exactly what Lori did. And it scares the shit out of me. And I know it's alarming to you guys too. And that's why you're here. So anyways, let me take another sip. I don't know why I grabbed a Pepsi. It's just gonna make me thirstier, obviously. But let me just continue on. So just as the church claims to be the only true church in the whole world, they sell salvation. Ballard claims to be saving children from being trafficked, but I allege that he and his elitist buddies are preying upon them instead. Allegedly. They project everything. Whatever they are warning you about is exactly what they are doing. Think of Lori accusing Charles of infidelity. She was doing what she was accusing him of. Melanie Boudreaux was trying so hard to get her hands on her children, to sacrifice them to. Lori and Chad sacrificed Tylee and JJ, in my opinion. I don't even care at this point, to their leaders of their church, and were exalted by doing so. Melanie wanted to be exalted too. Anyways, I could go on and on about this for hours, and I need to get back to work. And I was like, I hope I don't make your mind explode. Welcome to my life. And then I was like, P.S. Remember when we learned that Ballard and Renland were zombies? The infamous zombie email, infamous Reddit email, whatever you want. Melanie Gibbs email, basically. Okay. That was the questions that Nate Eaton used in his interview with Gibb. Anyways. But we all got different versions of it. Like, because I had taken, like, Mom showed me the email. Like, she printed it out. I was over there and she told me to read it. And it was from Nate. And it was the infamous Reddit email. Okay. But every version's a little different, because there's somebody who, Anna or whatever, on Hidden True Crime, she was anonymous, not anonymous, but just, she didn't show her face or anything. She did an interview and she talked about Avow, and she was in part one of the people who turned that email over to Reddit or whatever. There is a guy involved also. And I know who it is, but it's just not, I don't know. I'd have to run it through another creator where it originated. So before I let that out, I don't want to just throw anybody's name out there or somebody's name out there. But, and so that email was so whack. Okay. The three Nephites and Moroni gave glory to Chad. And the Savior was there. Chad once was the Holy Ghost. What? Well, in my opinion, the three Nephites are the three leaders of the church. And, but it would be Mathoni, because in that email it said, Mathoni had told Chad that he, hold on, I got to remember how it goes. They met technically September 23rd, 2019 at a Preparing a People Mesa event. During this time, one of the three Nephites, Mathoni, told Chad that a beautiful woman would come into, a special woman or something like that would come into his life. Okay, that's memorization right there. it's setting up, and I know I'm not even talking about what I'm supposed to, but it all goes together. It really does. Yeah. Let me try and stay on track. It just feels good to get it out. So yeah, those two apostles, remember later on how Hermosillo and I want to say Detective Ball became zombies? They were dark. Well, Ballard and Renlund are two Mormon apostles. So they're one of the quorum of the 12. That's the 12 black suits that follow the other three black suits, making 15 black suits, you know. Anyways, pocket pool, right? So Lori, I'd try to see it how she would see it. And she's a devout Mormon. She's been a devout Mormon her entire life since she was born. And as literal as she is, um as literal as she is, she looks at her leaders as if they are God. I mean, they're just it's like having 12 popes to a devout Catholic, I guess. I don't know. That's the equivalent. And I don't get that, I'm like, that's just they're dudes. They use the bathroom, they do gross stuff a lot, allegedly. But anyway, so it just makes me wonder because the second anointing, which is the second endowment in the Mormon sphere, and what happens is this is, I think, the idea, the call out, right? The whole call out where they're like, caca, and they're like gonna come in with some white trucks or whatever and load everybody's shit up that, has been, the preppers. This is where the preppers come in. Prepper pride. Anyways, that's where that shit comes in. I don't think it's that though. I think the call out is the actual invitation, which would have gotten Lori, because she said someone sent her to the temple, and then in walked Jason Mal. And then Jason Mal hooked her up with Melanie Gibb. Melanie Gibb hooked her up with Chad. And then they were sealed. The rest is a shit show, as you can see. I wish I could prove this because it changes things. I mean, I've always thought this, so it doesn't change what I think. It just would change things for the church for sure. And I won't sign an NDA. I promise you that. So I got more time. I don't need their damn money. Just saying, it's about the way they practice and their policies and how they don't follow them. They look good on paper. Everything looks great. The 1-800 LDS helpline, beautiful, beautiful concept. If it was used properly or as it is, as they want it to appear. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. And it again goes into Ruby and Jody, and it goes into the dentist in Colorado allegedly murdering his wife, poisoning her. It goes into the God complex. You can't tell people they're gods and exalt them and they never have to repent again, right? That's why Lori didn't have to repent. That's why she didn't have to wear her undergarments anymore. Hers was saved. And you see what happened, right? This is freaking scary. I'm not saying that's what happened in this case. If something's going on, then it's got to be in them temples, I'm telling you. Because just the general membership of the church, they are not freaking out. But it seems like when they step foot in them damn temples, something's going on. I'm not about to step in there and find out. So, anyways. All right. So, but yeah, the second anointing, there's usually two apostles that go in, like the president of the church, President Nelson would have had to have said, okay, Brother Daybell, Sister, whatever, Cox, Philo, Cook, Reed. No, I'm just naming all her last names. She sounds like a damn law firm. But, you know, basically, like, here's their call out. And so they get invited. They don't know who they're going to be sealed to. Maybe this is how it goes down in my mind. They don't know who they're going to be sealed to, but then, you know, Lori walks into the temple and in walks Jason Mao. The rest is history. That's when I'm telling you, he was like, I'm going to set you up like-minded people, that whole thing. That's what it is. And, yeah, it's polygamy. It's modern day polygamy. It's never stopped, in my opinion, and it's done in secrecy so that the U.S. government don't try and seize all their shit again. They got a lot of shit, a lot of assets. But anyway, so 2 apostles are in charge of that, and so it makes me wonder why Ballard and Renlund would become dark, you know, because they became zombies. So I wrote, remember when we learned that Ballard and Renlund are zombies. Ballard, Russell Ballard, one of the 12 apostles in the Mormon church, and Renlund, I ain't gonna say what I'd put, but anyways, Renlund also has a talk out there about violence and Mormonism. After Chad and Lori's story broke, Renlund gave a talk about sacrificing one to save the rest or something like that. And he likened it to Nephi and Laban, all that garbage that spews from their evil mouths. What did I do? How did I do? Here, I'm gonna grab my water. Okay. Is appalling to say the least. But Renlund is also one of the 12 apostles. Ballard is Tim Ballard's grandfather, but has recently been referring to Tim as his eternal friend. Sound familiar? Weird. He's distancing himself from his own grandson, who is a self-proclaimed hero and has fooled millions of people who have paid and endorsed his movie about his alleged sex crime heroism. And if anyone speaks against Ballard, is going to be confronted by a mob of angry people who elevate and defend. It's weird. Y'all have seen it with Chad. Y'all have seen it with... I haven't really looked in comment sections and stuff into Jody and Ruby. You know, I don't know if there's anybody out there defending them. I'm sure there is. There's always somebody. But anyways. So it's okay. Anyways, a mob of angry people who elevate and defend Tim as some sort of a savior. We aren't condoning trafficking, right? I mean, I think I'm against trafficking. Okay. But we are against fake wannabe people who have God complex like Timmy Ballard, who has been heard saying that he is Joseph Smith's reincarnate. We've heard that, right? You just can't make this stuff up, right? It's crazy. So, all that just to say hi. How's it going? Anyways, hey Mom. How's it going? You have known? Oh God. Let me know, Jean. I wonder though. I don't know why they would be zombies. Brother and Time Mormon Elder Hylam. There's the first quorum of general authorities. The 12 dudes, the 12 apostles, quorum of the 12. I don't know anybody. Okay, there's Elder Hylam. I don't know that name. I don't know it. But I can't believe that. In past court proceedings against innocent victims of her BS therapy. Conversion therapy, right? Right? it makes me wonder because y'all, okay, remember how not too long ago we were looking into Lynn Packer, right? He's been doing hella investigative journalism reporting. Like I like his work. He's very thorough. I'd hate if he was ever on like my ass. I'd be like, "Oh my god." That would freak me out. But he's very thorough. Hey Carrie. She does sound like a law firm, huh? But okay. This all ties in together. I got to show you something. Let me go grab it. Um Her name is Rosie. And I didn't hear about this. So this is crazy that I didn't hear about this because I mean, I'm in there like swimwear, usually. Okay, let me share my screen real quick. All right, check this. Okay, so this happened. Ex-wife of Utah man arrested in ongoing ritualistic child SA investigation, right? That's oh hell. That's the one that's anyways. David Hamblin. He's the one that's doing the peyote and the Native American religious ceremonies, allegedly. All allegedly. So anyways, this was on August 9th, 2023, the day my house burned down a long time ago. Anyways, ex-wife of Utah man arrested in ongoing ritualistic child SA investigation. Y'all know this involves cannibalism, child murder. Hello. And and just bad, horrible stuff. And okay. Anyways, it goes back to the satanic panic. Salt Lake City 2 News investigates has learned the Utah County Sheriff's Office has made another arrest in the ritualistic child SA investigation it launched in 2022. This story is being updated to reflect new information and filings in the case from court records. Rosie Anderson Stevenson, she sounds like Lori, formerly Rosie Hamblin, age 70 now. Anyways, of Provo. Chad's from Provo. All these people are from right there. Provo, Springville, I always want to say Springfield, but it's Springville, right? Anyways, Southern Utah. The ex-wife of David Hamblin, who was arrested last September for aggravated SA of a child, lewdness with a child, grape of a child, and several counts. I don't even like saying this word. I don't even want to look it up. I don't even know what it means. But anyways, it can be good. On a child was booked into the Utah County Jail on one felony count of that on a child. She does not have bail either. No bail. 4th District Court Judge Sean Peterson found that there was substantial evidence to support the charge and that Stevenson would constitute a substantial danger to the community and is likely to flee if released on bail and ordered she be held without bail. Now, oh, yeah, okay. I mean, I have all this stuff. It's bad. I can't even get through them all. There's like 48 different reports, okay? And I did talk to somebody the other night he is the Hamblin case as I am the Daybell case. I mean, so we got that out right away, but I really do believe, I always have thought that this connected. And so we're going to toss some things at each other and just kind of see where the chips lay or, where they land. But anyways, these are the ongoing stories for that. And this is in relation to her ex-husband's case. It involves a female victim who came forward to the Utah County Sheriff's Office in April of 2022. That woman is now 42 years old. The victim in this case told investigators I hate that. I want to be able to say the damn words I'm reading. The SA began when she was 6 years old until she was 12 or 13. She told investigators that she was SA'd by David and Rosie Hamblin in their home in Spring City. Utah County Sheriff's investigators say Hamblin forced her. This is really bad. Okay. So I'm probably not going to read the rest of this. I will put the link in the chat. You're more than welcome to go read the story. But I mean, this is just what was in some of what was in the affidavit or whatever. But yeah, it's really bad. Look, there's another bad Mormon. Oh, look at Zachary Ty Home Improvement. Oh God, he's changed. He's not looking so hot. Anyways, but it goes back to these cases are part of an ongoing investigation of SA of children that occurred in Utah, Joab, I think it is, and San Pete counties in the 1980s and 90s. What was going on during that time? Y'all remember? Remember the projection of the satanic ritual abuse, the SRAs, and how they can never be proven? Why? Because they use this, in my opinion, they use this, these shrinks. They use the David Hamblins. They use the Jody. They use the Tom Harrisons to do whatever they do to people under hypnosis or whatever they're doing. I don't know. Don't go to them. And that's just my advice. Please don't go there. But let me throw that in the chat real quick. God, that's a long ass link. But anyways, it's nuts. And yeah, it becomes more and more prominent though. And I don't want to be right. I really don't. I don't want to be right because it's bad. It's scary. Well, my hair is jacked up. My hair is getting thin. Hey, DJ. Oh, gosh, you've been on my mind. How is your mom? And I hate to ask that right now. Anyways, how's your wife? How's everybody? How's everybody? I hope you're okay. That's why I was just like, oh, he's got a lot on his plate right now. Let me just, you'll get a hold of me whenever you have a free moment. I got kind of a lot going on. Good. Oh my gosh. But it didn't burn down. That's the positive part, right? That's how I always try to think. Got to be positive. Hey, Dora. Hey, Dora. Yes, yes. A Aguilar. Definitely. And I mean, laws are meant, people break laws all the time. That's why we go to court. That's why, that's why it's broken. It's so broken. Either it's like, it's weird. That's a whole mess of, that's a whole nother mess, just the whole judicial system. It's broken. The prison system, it's broken. Even just, like responding to a 911 call from a guy named Charles Vallow who's talking this language, and the cop makes it really well. He's like, I'm not LDS. I want to be like, high five, right? But on the other hand, I'm like, but that's like a first line of defense to separate Mormonism and its reach, its influence from regular, just, I don't know, everybody else outside of the bubble. There's a language barrier because it's coded talk, and there's things that are not the same. Second coming is not the same that I thought it was. No. The Mormon calls second coming is the great I think it's the Great and Dreadful Day or something. I don't know. So many things to learn, and just so much space to occupy in my brain, before it knocks things out. But anyways, it's another line of it's another line of deception. Let me go grab this real quick, and I can show you what I'm talking about, because the therapist that was on Mormon Stories podcast the other night, whenever this story broke, I think her name Ruby Franke. But I caught what this therapist said, and I was like, that's what I've been doing, Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen again. I always forget to put myself this way. Okay, yeah, there's John. Hey, John, how you doing? No. All right. It was about, I watched it live and I kept having to back it up so many times.
Honesty and responsibility and humility are at the foundation.
What the hell is this? Oh, I was like, I don't have ads. I thought it was a whole ad. Okay. I'm sorry. And we've been having problems with the sound. Like, I can't get the sound to turn up on your side, So I don't know. I'm just trying different things. I've noticed that other creators have had the same issues, but I don't know if muting myself will help. Let's see if I can find the spot.
But it is like they put it perfectly. She almost gets like some sense of joy from inflicting pain and suffering on her children.
Okay, bam, right there. Do you get it? Remember how Chad was like, turn the pain up, right? This is alarming to me, and y'all don't know how many times, and maybe y'all do. So many people, and I don't know how it makes me feel. Because for 4 years, I've been like dying for people to talk about it. And it's like just now people are starting to talk about it. Why? I mean, was it because they weren't convicted yet? She wasn't convicted yet? What? Why does that harm us if we talk about it? Like, I don't know. It's bothered me. I've been dying to talk about it. I'd be in their chats, and just be like, and I support, I definitely support the Mormon, ex-Mormon platforms. But anyways, it's such a weird spot.
Yeah. So it's almost sadistic. And again, that might be mental health as much as it is any Mormon influence. But then was she encouraged to seek help or not?
Go to her.
Or did you get the right help? Or did her bishop refer her to Jody Hildebrand?
Years, because that's exactly probably what happened.
Right? Which doesn't really solve that problem. So we just showed the Ruby starving her kids again, right?
We did the medical intervention one. So
Okay,
the next one is Jody.
I'm gonna go look this other one up because it about breaks my heart.
Okay, so now we come to Jody Hildebrand. Anything y'all want to say to set this up before we play the clip?
Play the clip first, and then I'll add everything else.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Here's a clip about Jody Hildebrand.
Connection requires someone to live principles of being honest, responsible, and humble. So vulnerability means I'm willing to accept the state of existence in this world.
Oh, wow, there she is.
Honesty and responsibility and humility are at the foundation of living a life that's connected.
I mean, already it's so ironic because the accounts I've heard about Jody Hildebrand is that the last thing you would say to describe her is humility and accountability. That she sort of ran her therapy sessions and these support groups and these workshops and retreats as the absolute authority in everything that she said, and no accountability. But what did you want to say? Do you want me to show that slide and have you talk through it, Jordan?
Yeah, you can pull it up. So
Okay.
some of this we already know, but she is the founder of Connections, and we'll talk more in a minute about what Connections is.
It's a scam. Let me show you all this real quick. This is disturbing to me. When I heard this, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Kresha.
Which no,
Kresha.
okay.
Can you hear me? Kresha.
Jason came back from the hospital today, so I'm so happy he's here. He's sleeping though. All right. I don't really go to TikTok that much, so I'm a little slow here. Oh,
Eve, she was 6 years, about a year ago, my daughter was saying her prayers. Eve, she was 6 years old at the time. And she was saying her prayers, and she said the cutest thing. I thought it was so cute. And I started laughing. She said, "Dear Heavenly Father, please help me to survive." And I thought it was so cute, and it just took me off guard, and I kind of giggled a little. She was...
how do I make this little slider go? What the hell? Y'all, I'm old. I don't want to pause it. Let me do it from my keyboard then. Oh no, that's not it either. I don't know. Whatever.
Kresha.
It's crazy. Heavenly Father. The little girl prays to Heavenly Father to let her survive, and she thinks it's cute. Oh my god. Oh.
About a year ago, my daughter was saying her prayers. Eve, she was 6 years old at the time. And she was saying her prayers, and she said the cutest thing. I thought it was so cute. And I started laughing. She said, "Dear Heavenly Father, please help me to survive." And I thought it was so cute, and it just took me off guard, and I kind of giggled a little. That was an experience for her, and she melted. She was angry, and she started crying.
Reasons oh no, what are you doing?
But whenever I was at their house in Salt Lake City, I was like, what the hell? Let me know what that is.
Can you eat breakfast? You don't need food. Oh, I did not know you were standing there. Are you okay? Seriously, are you okay? Let me see. I am going home to my sweet children. I cannot wait to hug them and to smell them and to lick them.
If she ever licked me, I'd slap the shit out of her.
Kresha. Can you hear me?
What the hell?
Can you hear Kresha? Can you hear me?
All right, back to Hildebrandt. Okay. Isn't that disturbing though? Please, Heavenly Father, please let me survive. Oh my God. She tells, and that is one good thing though about Mormonism, is that they tell on themselves. So
Kresha.
Well, it is what it is. But I don't know. It's but they tell on themselves. Like, did y'all hear the sister of Ruby? Did you hear like when you first hear what they say, it sounds kosher, it sounds okay, but then you start kind of thinking about it and you're like, no. That it sounded sweet, it sounded genuine, it sounded sincere. But then if you just go back and you listen to it again or read it, then you're like, none of this is about the kids. None of this is about the children. This is all about her. And it reminds me of Adam. It reminds me of Rex. it reminds me of the Cox that side, Lori's side of the family, as far as the self-preservation, the uh I don't know, it's only skin deep. That's just how I see it. I'm not, you know, I don't know. Because I mean, that's one thing that I catch on to, are the like-minded behaviors, you know? Um, yeah, Bonnie. I don't know how to say her last name, but, you know, I
Crasha, can
wonder
you
if
hear
I could
me?
grab that. Guess I could.
Crasha?
I don't know what to do. Jump around, y'all know I do.
And then she's also, she claims to
Let me
be
play more of that
a
while I
coach.
find the other one.
We mentioned before that she was Chad's therapist, Ruby's son's therapist, and she was also Beau's therapist. And Beau is Ruby's brother. And so
that we had mentioned earlier.
And so when all of this was happening in the beginning, Beau had actually left a negative review for Jody on her business page and had said that she was basically awful and did not help at all and was just all around terrible. And so there was a lot of kind of scandal around that in the beginning, because everybody was like, oh, Jody and Ruby are starting this business together, and she was Beau's therapist, and there's like, confidentiality and things there. So she's been involved in the family in more than one way. And then, like we've talked about, she's a licensed mental health counselor. She does not operate within her license right now, as she says. She primarily, like John mentioned before, her like areas of forte were sex addiction and pornography, and she ran like a lot of recovering from porn groups and those kinds of things. And then she was on the LDS Family Services referral list for a while, so she was recommended by a lot of Mormon bishops. And then, as we'll talk about in the next slide, her license was actually put on probation for an ethical violation. And it shouldn't have been the only one, because evidently, as John is hearing and as I have heard, there is now plenty to talk about, but we'll talk about that in a second. And then her and Ruby become business partners, which I'll return to in a second. And then later on, you'll also see that Ruby and Kevin attended some of her classes when they were having some problems.
And even were part of filmed discussions that they had
That they disseminated.
on couples and things.
Yeah. So I straight up forgot what I was going to look for. So the whole time I'm like, okay, what was it? I forgot what I was going to look for. It was something to do. Can y'all remember? I hate
hear
this.
me? Can you
Some
hear
days
me?
are better than the other days. Oh, you hate that her name is Jody? Look, you know how they have like list of names, used to on Facebook, and they're like, if your name's on this, then you're crazy. You're crazy, bitch. Jody's one of them, and so is Melanie. I remember that. I never find my name on any list. So, man, that sucks. Jody needed money. Her license was suspended. $3 million home, which looked like a damn bunker. Right? Oh, I need to find that let's see, that where that therapist on here, and try and I want to use all his material. Okay, here, maybe.
I'm getting old, John.
Oh, you might have
So
to mute me,
Julie,
Donna. I don't know if you can. I think that's what's happening. There's an echo, maybe. Or
and Julie's been on Mormon Stories as well. Julie, take a second to talk about who you are and what you do, and then anything you want to say about kind of what you've just heard so far. And if you want to speak about Jody Hildebrandt and connections or practices like that, including the Mormon Church's own addiction recovery program, let's just give you the mic for a little bit. Is that all right?
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Okay.
So I am a therapist, and I've practiced in Utah for almost 30 years. I own Wasatch Family Therapy Clinics in Utah and Mesa, Arizona, and written some books. And my specialty area is LDS women. And I am on Instagram a lot and post a lot and advocate for Latter-day Saint women. It's interesting, this topic. I have been following Jody and Ruby's videos for the past, I think it's been about a year, and I've been very, very concerned. In fact, I reported Jody, I think it's been 2 months ago, because of some of the racist, sexist, homophobic things she said online. And because she is still a licensed therapist, we're bound by ethical responsibilities even when we're not officially acting as a therapist. So I felt like it was reportable, and so concerning to have a therapist speaking so disrespectfully of minority populations. I have never worked with someone who has been a client of Jody's, but I have had people say, "What do you think about connections?" And that's when I went down the rabbit hole, and I have watched hundreds of videos and have been just compiling my own list because I've been afraid about what I've been hearing. Okay, the addiction recovery. Oh yeah. My biggest problem with that is that everyone who masturbates is not a sex addict. Everyone who looks at porn is not a porn addict. That's been my experience, that a lot of LDS people come in and they label themselves as addicts when it's like, I masturbate once a month, right? Like you were saying, John. So I think that's so damaging. And also, we have created victims in spouses, like you've been cheated on. We frame things as, if your partner looks at porn, you've been cheated on, you're a victim. And that's created a whole other host of problems for.
Just to kind of illustrate the point.
I hate having to go back and forth. They need to StreamYard. Please fix it to where you can mute it while out of the damn studio. Lord. Follow the voice, not the light, right? They yes, totally. All right. So I just found the spot where this is basically what my life has been. I don't know how to put it into words because I don't know what it is. So I'm gonna push play and then I'm gonna have to go back and mute myself. So it might have an echo for a second.
I just typed in ARP Salt Lake City. What's the acronym for the groups? Do you guys remember? For the church sponsored support groups?
I can't.
In relationship in 6 weeks, and that's $218, and also
enjoying
and the online courses. Just the terror, the religious based terror of your spouse or your children, committing the sin next to murder is going to be undue influence to pressure people to opt in to these super expensive, sometimes $2,000 or $3,000 a month kind of expenditures. Julie, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I just agree. I totally agree. I'm just reading the comments and enjoying those. So thanks everybody for the comments.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's
all
not
right.
it
So,
either.
Jordan McKay, should we go to the clips?
Yes. So this next one that you're going to see is when Ruby and Kevin started participating in connections. And so
okay, so it'll be right after this clip. And yeah, so we'll just go ahead and watch the clip.
The complex relationship with Ruby, with Jody being Chad's therapist, and then Ruby's brother's therapist, and the inappropriateness of all that. On top of that, we have Ruby and Kevin were also participating in her marriage classes in the very beginning also, and it turned into promotional materials for the class. But this clip is one of the many that you'll see from Ruby and Kevin talking about their experience.
All right, let's let it roll.
So, Kevin would show up in a distorted way or a controlling way or in drama. And what I learned was I don't need to point that out. I don't need to get Kevin to be responsible for him being in distortion. I only need to be responsible for my response to it. I am responsible for the emotions that I go into, and I need to own that. And so when I like quite literally drew this line in the middle and said, whatever distortion he's in, it could be the reality. And a lot of the times it was the reality that you were in distortion. And I don't have to engage that. In fact, it's not my responsibility at all to engage that. My only responsibility is to own mine and to be honest about myself.
Yeah. So Julie, I just kind of have a tongue-in-cheek joke. Like in all your training, you know, your doctorate level training in mental health, how often did the clinical word distortion come up, and what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, never. And when people who've been trained with Jody speak, it's like you don't even know what they're saying, because all of these words have their own meaning, like truth and distortion and what's reality. And they use agency a lot. They've borrowed that one from the LDS Church.
And this is what I'm talking about. The changing of the definition. So Jody uses whatever her definition is for distortion and distorting things. And that's the same. It's the same thing I get from the church. It's a lot of double speak, and it's a lot of contradictory circular talk. Melanie Gibb displays it, Melanie Pulowski, Julie Rowe, the word salad, you know? And it's like how I told y'all when I was in safety, you know, and or working out in the refineries, and you have your safety meeting in the morning and they're like, "Okay, hurry up, but be safe. You got to be safe." So it's like I mean, I can understand why we have people like this when you're steadily getting double meaning, you know, throughout your whole life as a Mormon, as a Latter-day Saint, you know, you get and things, the definitions change as it needs to fit their narrative or whatever. It's really really peculiar, and it's really hard to explain. I did run across this lady, I don't remember her name, but it was in Scientology. She's an ex-Scientologist, and she for, what's that dude's name? Masterson, Danny Masterson. And she was basically an interpreter in court because they use code words that an outsider will not understand. Um, and I was like, that's this. Okay, I know what that is. So I don't know what this will turn into. You know what I mean? As far as specializing, whatever, I don't even know if this is a skill. It's more of a damn curse. But anyways, I'll let her finish.
So I get that one, but truth and distortion, the black and white thinking, which is a sign of ill health, is like at the core of the teachings.
And at Mormonism, it's at the core of Mormonism, in my opinion. So it's Mormon speak, it's LDS speak. Rob Wood said it to Summer. He was like, I know, I'm kind of speaking in these LDS speak, LDS terms, right? It's a slang talk, or I don't know, you know? Anyways, it's different, but it's also a mechanism. And I mean, I guess why I pounce on it so much and and I'm intrigued by it is because it also stood in the way of my uncle communicating with the police and the police being like, "What?" You know what I'm saying? Like, Lori did not see the Lord in the temple. But to my uncle, she sounded crazy. Anybody who says they saw Jesus Christ in the temple and got that whole message that she did, yeah, you crazy. Yes, you need to go get your head checked. Yes, it's mental illness. But it's also partly of why he was misunderstood. It I mean, it's a big thing. It's a big deterrent. It's a big deception. It doesn't allow that person to communicate effectively. And, for others, outsiders of the culture to be able to understand it, you know, I mean, really, it's part of why he was not helped, in my opinion. It wasn't all just Chandler and it wasn't all the church, but it is a lot of both. It is a lot of both. As far as systems that failed him, he went through the proper channels, uh, ecclesiastical leaders, and you go up the chain of command. He did all the things. He didn't like slap the shit out of her, like there was no domestic violence um there, he went through the proper channels, and it was just another way, in my opinion, that the LDS speak got him killed. And then so on and so forth. So that's just my little take on that. Anyways.
Thinking, which is a sign of ill health, is like at the core of the teachings, right? It's either this or this.
Something else that I have pointed out, and we both have pointed out a lot of times, is the ambiguous nature of a lot of these things, because the definitions are coming from them. So in a moment's notice in a conversation, they're able to redefine what distortion is to make themselves be in the right, and the person who's like a member of the group or who is paying for this course is in the wrong. So they always come out on top because of this ambiguous kind of language.
Well, and the reason I included this clip was because it demonstrates kind of the weirdness of the language. Like Julie just pointed out, like we actually, after we started investigating kind of this with Jody and Ruby, like our followers eventually asked us to like make a video on like what the heck truth is, what is distortion, why do they talk like this, why do they always capitalize the T in truth. Like it's very weird and vague, and it sounds like they're kind of speaking their own language, which is why I included this one, because it's kind of very bizarre to listen to.
Yeah. And I'll just say that, one of the things we try and talk about on Mormon Stories is awareness around either high demand religions or cults. And while we don't find that it's useful to call the Mormon Church a cult on Mormon Stories podcast, we do think it's essential for people to learn the principles of unhealthy organizations or high demand religions or cults. And newsflash, religions aren't the only cults out there, whether it's some multi-level marketing or pyramid schemes, whether it's yoga instructors like Bikram, whether it's sometimes life coaches or even self-improvement groups, certain businesses, certain educational institutions, sometimes in a marriage. It's essential to learn the fundamentals of high demand religions. There's a really, really good book that I recommend called Recovering Agency by Luna Lindsay Corbden, about the 31 sort of practices of unhealthy organizations.
Yeah, Jen gave me that book, but I left it at Mary's. So, and I skimmed through it while I was at Jen's, and I was like, oh my God, I love this book. So I either need to get it mailed here or buy it on, Amazon or something. But it reminds every time I hear cult now, because I watch Dan Cummings, I'm like, cult, cult, cult. I can't help it, you know. But I don't find the word cult to be um it's not constructive, you know. I don't find the labels constructive. If anything, I feel like the label producer is and I mean, I don't know. I really I come from no labels. And I went into a world full of them. And I'm like, "What? What? There's all these words and all these, you know, for all these things." And I'm just like, "Oh my God, totally green, totally green, brand new baby." I was a blank canvas, which I think was was good in the sense that it was, you know, it allowed me to jump in head feet first, you know, and to just, you know, try to every time I'd see in when I was reading Mormon literature, whether it be in the Book of Mormon, the Pearl of Great Price, I don't really read the Word of Wisdom. I didn't know what all these things were. But so I look at it as if it's literature, you know, as if it's just a book about it and it's a story. And I mean, because I don't even know Bible stuff, you know. I cannot recite one damn scripture right now. um, it's just never been my thing. But I would find all the things that Lori would say, that Lori did say to my uncle. It's very unique. It's very unique to Mormonism. And the same language that was used that she said to him is the same language that's used to do these secret sealing ceremonies. Um, yeah, it's laced. Now I can't help but see it. And so it's like, oh God, you know, now I can't not point it out. I can't just be like, oh, oh, there's, you know, I grab a book and I start reading it and then I start highlighting things and then it'd be better off if I just, you know, I highlight the whole damn thing because you'd have to read it in its context sometimes. Just to maybe, I don't know. I think that's where I doubt myself a lot because it's so crazy. It's crazy, you know. How do you find all this stuff and it's just laced again, it's laced in the scriptures, in the Mormon scriptures. Um and it's repetition. It's beating it in over and over and over and over and over again. And that's the indoctrination part. Um and I mean, she lives I know Lori said she lives by the scriptures, you know? And she does. The Mormon scriptures. And anyways, it's nuts. Oh, thank you, Beach Mom. Okay, so the dude I talked to the other night, they call like what David Hamblin and David Levitt and people like that, and you can go on ahead and mark Chad and Lori down in there, and David Warwick and all the, you know, their brood, and they call it the Church of Satan. I guess just to not lump it all in with the entire religion, the entire organization. I do not at all believe that everyone who is Mormon is, you know, Satanist. Um, However, it's like a cult within 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 a cult. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Or does it? You know, it's like there's so many layers to this and it's so confusing and it's so complex. And again, not knowing the language to speak effectively, you know, when I try to explain it to somebody, I mean, uh, I fumble for my words because it just doesn't come out right. Or or I'm just like, I wonder if I'm like, "Oh my god, they're gonna think I'm crazy." Or I'm like, "I hope I don't offend them." Or, there's all these things that factor into who I am talking to, how open I can talk, and, because, the last thing I wanna do is offend anybody, but I just am asking, you know, that I'm not here to offend you, I'm just here to find answers to what happened, why did it happen, how can we stop it from happening again? Because it's happening again. There was a boy who jumped out of a window, ran to the neighbor's house, banging on the door, and the neighbor answered the door, and he just wanted something to drink and something to eat because he had been bound by duct tape. Okay? It's a little sensitive subject, okay? And, that's JJ. Um, you know? Except that little boy's still alive, and but do you see how easily he could not be? So it's gonna happen again. It's happening again. It's happened since the beginning of time. So it just seems so huge, and I feel I'm just one person, But I know that we're in this together, and there's power in numbers, and I just don't understand what's going on with within these people. Listening to Mormon Stories podcast, which I highly, if you haven't gone and subscribed, this guy's been at it for 2 decades, and when I first came onto the scene or whatever, this was, I mean, I was just like, who wants to listen to all this? Nobody. I did not. I was like, I don't, who is Nephi? Who is Moroni? What? I mean, just it's a culture shock. And starting to sound like Rex. Anyways. My Mormon uncle routinely changed my cousins to the Franklin stove. What is that? What? I'm scared. I'm kind of scared to ask. And yeah, I agree, Olive. I agree with you. And then I don't know to which degree. It's like this, kind of. It's like I don't know if it's all these women and these people just all nutting up, if it's the culture that's creating the psychos, if you know what I'm saying, or just as, like I said, like Alex is the fall guy allegedly for Chad and Lori. I think Chad and Lori are the fall guys for the church. And it's like, who's the puppeteer? Who's pulling the strings? Who's whispering and saying to do one thing? Like this Jody here, John says in this interview that it's been stated that Jody, has the ear of a general authority. That's one of the 12 apostles. That's one of the godly men in this church. And this is a problem. This is a problem. It's a problem. Obviously, it's a problem. And it's repeating itself. And so there's always a root. There's always a source. And it's just get your damn weed killer out. It's not kill it at the source, because it just it's I don't want any more kids to die. I don't want anybody else to die from this. you know, not just die. Not, I mean, dying's easy, but to mm-mm, to experience those horrifying moments, from people that you trust and love. Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. And it's devastating, really. And it does remind me of the Turpin children. I mean, oh my God. That was the girl. Yeah, she didn't even know what a stop sign or something was when she escaped, right? Yeah. Cell phone. Yeah, I think she was on the phone with 911. When I heard that phone call, I was like, oh my God, it broke my heart. Oh, that's sweet. That's a good. I love. Lori's children's deaths may have saved Ruby's children. Her brave son going to the neighbor really saved them. But could he have read any news about JJ and Tylee? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. But it's like you can't bring them back. But this is where their blood was spilled. It's their blood that was spilled. And it's my family's blood, right? And I think they deserve a platform, even though they lost their voices and their lives. That's what we are. That's what you are. We are extensions of their voices. And I love that. So I want nothing more than to prevent any of this crap in their names, in their honor. That's all I can do at this point. Yeah. Thank you, Bewitched. I appreciate that. I really do. And the truth hurts. It really does. I hate when my camera does it. It is a great podcast. I've come to really respect and look forward to these, to these episodes. Mormon Discussions is another. I like listening to Radio Free Mormon and Bill Real. They're corny too. They tell corny jokes, and I get that. I don't know. Let me try and turn my camera off. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, hey, John. Oh, and see, I don't want to make anybody cry. I know it sucks. Sometimes I have the feels and sometimes I don't. Can anyone in chat catch me up on who Lori is and who died? Okay. Yes, sure can. These are all the victims. This is Tammy Daybell and Tylee, Ryan, Joseph Ryan, JJ Vallow, and Charles Vallow. These three are my family. This was my aunt, Lori Vallow, and there are a lot of similarities in the case, but in the story of Ruby. Is that right? That didn't even sound right. Ruby. Yeah, that's right. Ruby, Frankie, and Jody. And it also what's her face? The Microsoft executive that was murdered. Brightigan. That sounds, a lot like Melanie Pulowski, which is Lori's niece, her blood niece. And anyway, so I don't know, but yeah. So Lori was my aunt, and until she was not. She just didn't put in a 2-week notice. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. What I do is I make connections between when a new story comes out, like this one did, I'm like, oh my God. And I've noticed in chats and and all, all these channels covering the story. And you just hear other people saying, it reminds me of Lori Vallow. It reminds me of Lori, and I'm like, yeah, it does. Just because it's happening again. And it's going to continue to happen unless we get comfortable talking about uncomfortable things, because it's very uncomfortable. But, so was Tylee. Tylee was uncomfortable when she was being murdered. JJ was uncomfortable when he was being murdered. All these victims were, they got the short end of the stick. That little boy who ran to the neighbor's house and was bound in duct tape is a lot like how my nephew was found. Not a lot, but duct tape on a kid. Okay. It makes my head want to spin. Now I did it one time when I was young, just being a dumb kid, right? Common sense wasn't so common at that point. And anyways, I okay, first off, let's establish this. That duct tape does not breathe. It does mind. And so I put it around my waist, right? I wanted to just pull my stomach in, even though I was not fat. And yeah, I you can't get it off that fast either. So yeah, I was in a bind. I know I'm telling on myself right there, but I was like 13, 12, 13. Yeah, it was not a very smart thing to do. I've done some stupid shit. Who got hacked? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, I always think about it too, and I'm like, I know they done baptized. I know Lori done baptized us, right? Mm. And if I could, I mean, I think that's such an invasion of, and I mean, again, maybe I'm sensitive because of how Lori did the research into my family history, took that research, sent it over to Chad. Chad sends it back to her and rates my family and then murders them. My mom's on the hit list. My mom is dark. I always knew that. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Oh, oh, duct tape and it started spinning. Oh, hell. That's exactly what the duct tape. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. In a metaphorical way, right? Um, so, oh, wait, I'm gonna go look and see what Olive said. DK Canada. DK Canada says, agreed. It needs to be talked about. These adults should be ashamed that they would ever hurt the innocent. Yes. But they have gone down rabbit holes of so-called religiosity. Yep. I know that because I've been in the same rabbit hole trying to figure it out. As an outsider, yeah. It's been crazy. It's been an experience for sure. Hey, JLL. Love you, girl. I hope you're okay. I'm looking for. Oh, thank you. I guess. I don't know. Again, I want to be wrong. I really do. But yeah, we're not getting the truth. Y'all know that, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious. We're not getting it from the murderers. We're not getting it from the co-conspirators, named and unnamed, and the participants and all the people that just turned and just, just like what's happened in this case with Ruby Franke. Is it Frank or Frankie? I've already confused myself. Hooker and Hooker 1 and Hooker 2. I'm just kidding. And Jody, and it's the same thing with Shanna, uh, Fernandez, Gardner Fernandez. It's the same. Who's the other one? Oh shit. My mind's blank. Shocker. Shocker. But that's what I do all the time is I read and I make connections. I listen to things. When I re-listen to things, like earlier this morning, I was in here cleaning and I was watching a story about Ruby, right? Passenger, was it? That's such a weird channel name, by the way. 8 passengers or whatever the hell. Weird. Okay, I get it if you're in a vehicle, but anyway, so it was playing, and then it went into the preliminary hearing, day 2 of Chad Daybell, and I was like, and I looked at the TV, and I was like, and I saw Melanie go, and it's right before court began, and I saw Melanie Gibb run over to my parents, and she was too damn excited. Okay, first off, I don't want her to touch my parents with her nasty ass hands. Okay, that's all. She should be ashamed of herself, but these people have no conscience. And that is freaking scary. It's freaking scary. So they're bold. So bold that they are doing it right here in plain sight. Everything's in plain sight. Know that. That's been another big pattern is they do it right in front of you and use Jesus's name. They don't give a shit. They think it's normal. And I'm like, "Oh my god. This is scary." Right? So, um, let's see. What I should have titled this so I could see what it is instead of trying to squint. Hold on just a second. Hell, I can't. Okay, yeah. All right, let me go. Ta-da! Oh, let me move that big, difficult research thing. I was trying something different. Ta-da! Okay. All right. So this is a story about Jody, right? Hildebrandt. And this is from June 2008. And it came from a blog. So it's like a transcript, And it's pictures of pornography, part 1 of an interview with Jody Hildebrandt, June 8th, 2008. Jody Hildebrandt manages Utah County's chapter of LifeStar. This is a program and network designed to help sexual addicts through recovery. She is a member of the LDS Church and comes highly recommended. If you or a loved one is struggling, I suggest you go and check out the network as one of your resources. There is help for those with an addiction and also for those who have a loved one who is struggling. Interview with Jody, Hildebrandt. I don't know who NSG is, okay? So, I don't know. Speaking from an LDS perspective as a therapist who has worked with lots of LDS people who have dealt with pornography, when would you say someone needs to go to the bishop with their problem? That's the first problem right there. Why you got to go if you feel like whatever. If you feel like touching yourself, why you got to tell the bishop? I think that's a whole nother actually. And I mean, I know this does not go for, just know when I say things, I'm not lumping everybody in the same bucket, I know, but there are those who don't do the right thing, who are put in those higher positions, who look the other way, who forgive the offender time and time again, and the victim gets silenced over and over and over again. And that's, I think, what happened in this case with Ruby and Jody and these children. they get silenced. No, everybody looks the other way. Why? Because they are white. These, these couples, they're white. They're all put together. Um, Everything looks good, skin deep. It's very superficial. But you begin to notice that there's a lot of cracks just beneath. You peel that first layer back, and then you're like, not of their skin or anything. I'm just saying the first layer of, like, when I looked at the LDS helpline, whatever, it looked good. Just looking at it, and I was like, wow, that is really cool. That is interesting. That's really good. But then you peel back one layer and you're like, oh my God, no, this is horrible. But that's what I'm saying, how it's done in plain sight. It's right there in your face. Looks great to somebody who's not going to research any further than that, or who's not hurt by it, or it's not used against them with Kurt and McConkie coming at you, and then, let's say the victim finally does actually get, their case moved forward through their bishop, through the stake president, and through McConkie, Kurt and McConkie, and then it gets to go to court. Okay. And let's just say that they settle with the church. The church demands you have got to sign a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. And then you get paid all your big bucks, right? That's why I said I have more time. I don't need their money. I don't know. They obviously treasure money, right? They need it for the second coming of Jesus Christ and stuff. So that's why they kind of hid that 100 billion away. And, so they value, they really do. They are worldly men. It's a worldly church. And it's all about money and power and sex. It goes all the way across the board. You can apply it over Chad and Lori, and you can apply it over every human being. Because once that ego gets in the way, then you're done. It's just a matter of time before you're gonna crash and burn, because karma's gonna bite your ass. And we all have that capability. So, anyways, all that, I'm so sorry. All right. Okay, so if they have a recurring problem, if they look at it once, oh my God, this is so weird to talk about. I can't believe they have these discussions. Like, well, when you look at porn, you know what happened when I caught my son looking at porn? You know what I did? I probably traumatized him. But yeah, he was about that age, right? And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so I called Zachary, come here, and I was like, you want to look at some porn on the computer, bud? We did. I typed in every venereal disease there was, and we looked at all of them. And anyways, I don't know. I'm not giving you parenting advice. Okay. I don't know. I just wanted him to see the ugly side of it, I still don't have grandbabies, and he's 23. So, right. Looking at porn once is the turning point to addiction? No. Breathing is the turning to addiction, right? I mean, anything in excess is bad for us. And I'm sure, fondling yourself, whatever, feeling yourself. I'm trying to think of songs. Masturbation, whatever. It's shut up, Angela. Isn't it weird to go from Jesus to masturbation real quick? And murder, and who knows? Gonna go through all kinds of things. This is nuts. Oh, the real Jesus insisted pedophiles drown, but they are dry and breathing. That's because they have protectors. They have a network. They have to. That's the only way I really I think they are like, "Hey, is this where all the predators hang out? Oh, okay. I want to sign up." I think that's what they do. And then they just help each other. I really That's what friends are for, right? And then they pay to be in this membership, this club, this little rascals, no, except they like the women, I guess, sometimes, allegedly. I don't know. This is such a weird conversation tonight, but you're gonna hop. Allison, it's good to have you here. Thank you. They do. Very Stepford wife. Even the daughter of Sherry is her name. And God bless her heart, like she is one of Ruby and Kevin's. Is it Kevin? See, it starts with a K, I think. Every time I hear Ruby, I think of Ruby and Max. Max and Ruby. Anyways. And I'm old school. I like to write things down. Okay, Sherry Franke is the eldest daughter of the 8 passengers family, and she spoke out about, like she would feel a lot of anxiety and weight. No wonder. I mean, her mom, her dad too. He doesn't get out of this. In my opinion, the sisters don't get out of this. They're doing the same damn thing. Child exploitation. Yeah, that's why I feel so bad too, because I want to share, like Silas. He's my bonus son, my baby bonus son. He's 7. And things just hit him, like you just kind of see things registering in his mind, and he gets emotional and he misses and he wants to talk about Tylee and JJ. He wants to grieve. And I mean, it's like they see what I do here and I want them to be a part of it, but then I'm like, hell no. There are some nasty mofos out there. Hell no. And it's like I'm torn, and because I want them to have a voice, because it is not about me. It's about the kids. It's always about the children, right? It took a lot for me to realize this, It took losing some to realize these things. But I mean, how do you protect your kids? I know I can't keep them away from it completely. I can't protect my kids or anybody else's completely, but I can take measures. I can teach them things. And just how to handle situations, and I always say that hurt people hurt people. Usually the kid that's, hitting you on the bus or whatever, something's going on in their life, and that's how kids react. They react with emotion. And you know I try to tell them every chance I get that it's okay to feel. If you feel angry, be angry. And then when you're done, let it, just move on. Don't continue it, just get it out and it's okay. If you're sad, it's okay. Feel all the feels, and just continue on. Um yeah. Awareness. Yeah, well. Oh man. Yeah. Those bonus babies. Oh, they're all our bonus babies though, you know? Because I mean, I'm in my mid 40s now, so I'm, you know, all I can do as a woman my age is try to give them a good role model and teach them things, you know? Um, and that's it. And just and then you just do this. You pray for the best. You know? Um, all we can do. I'm so thirsty. So there's so many different things that that Ruby, she's just so combative, and I get it. Tough love. I understand it. Um not at all times. You know, kids don't just come out knowing this stuff. And because this is another thing, you know how I've learned from watching like Grant Palmer. He was a devout Mormon for most of his life, and then he he had a bunch of aha moments, as he said. Yeah, there's a couple interviews out there on the Ex Mormon Foundation channel, and John DeLynn, Mormon Stories podcast, did an interview with him right before Grant Palmer died. And he said the best thing that you can do and you can give a Mormon and show a Mormon is, as they're coming out of it, right, is you can show them grace, because they don't know it. They're not taught it. They're taught it, but it's redefined. It's by their works. You know, that's they have to earn it in their belief system. They have got to be worthy, and have, if they're not worthy enough, I mean, that right there is just I mean, that's just that's damaging. Can you imagine? Yeah. Yeah, I can. Trying to prove yourself your entire life, you know? Like, I can't imagine. Well, yeah, I can't. I mean, there's different, I'm looking at it through a Mormon scope, but, you know, I mean, you know, like I've sought approval from my mom. Sought approval from people around me, when the whole time I didn't need that approval. I didn't need it. I was just seeking it. You know what I'm saying? The whole time I had the power within, you know, it's a whole learning process. But she's just a little too tough love. And it's something that she's void of. Like, Ruby was hurt. I feel like Lori was hurt. Chad was hurt, because hurt people hurt people. I've hurt people because I was hurt, not knowing why, you know, just I hurt people. Or I didn't want to get hurt. So I'm gonna hurt you before you hurt me. I mean, it's insanity, right? Just got to break the cycle. But anyways, um, I'm all about tough love. Just not to that extreme though, you know? There's a whole nother thing. The extremes of it. There's not a balance. Oh, and the other thing that Grant Palmer said was, it's a little quote he said, and I wrote it down, and it was, an informed Mormon is soon to be an ex-Mormon. I was like, I like that. Very simple. Yeah, there's definitely a difference between tough love and torture. And just, she's a bad parent, and she's scary. She's Lori Vallow next, and there's gonna be a whole bunch. I mean, there was a whole bunch before Lori and Chad, there's gonna be a whole bunch after. And, so that's what's crazy about this. I gotta get into Like I've been making myself get into the weird, uncomfortable stuff. I'm like, this does not exist. This does not, but it does exist, and I think that it exists more commonly than we think. But what we get in reports, what we get in the narrative, who's protecting who's covering their own ass, who's just not wanting to get sued, who is, it's all about everybody's out for themselves. And nobody's suffer the children, right? Oh, I love you too. Good night, JLL. Yeah, there you go. Well, I got to be careful with that too. I did that to my brother. Tough love is taking someone's car keys after they drank at the bar, refusing to loan them money if they're an addict. Yeah. Yep. I mean, and you can't reason with somebody who is an addict, or you can't reason with somebody who is a drunk or drunk. Can't reason. You can't reason with somebody who is a narcissist. You can't reason with a narcissist. It's mm-mm. You just might as well shut up. Don't feed it. That's my uh-uh. I'm like, oh no, I'm not getting sucked in. I'm good. But I mean, this woman, you know, her two younger kids, there's Christmas coming up, and she says that she's gonna give them the gift of what was it? Anyways, no Christmas. She said that these two younger children, they were not, Santa Claus was not going to be there that year for them for Christmas. All the brothers and sisters would have gifts from mom and dad, she said, but the two little ones would not. And she wanted to teach them the gift of something. I wrote it down. I just can't. I don't see it right here. I'll find it. So I mean, that right there. And then again, I feel weird about the whole Santa Claus thing. You know, I don't like lying to my kids. I didn't like, because I mean, it's just a problem to me. It's a problem. I understand the magic of it. I understand the 'tis the season, but I also think it's misleading, because here you are as a parent and you're telling your kid that God is real. You're telling them the tooth fairy is real. Santa Claus is real. Damn leprechauns are real. Zombies. Just kidding. The Easter bunny. All these things. You're telling them that that's all real. And you learn that's not the case. But God's real. You see what I'm saying? It's double speak. I don't like it. So it bothers me. I don't want to lie. We used to know our neighbors. With social media, more human interaction is needed. Yes. Yes. Definitely. I don't think I engaged as much with, not in a constructive way. Let's just say that. I used to go to bars, be like, woohoo, you know, but so this has taught me to be more socially interactive, but yes, face to face, on the phone, even, you know, just, I don't know, more interaction, connection, and we all crave it, right? I think so. Yeah. I Googled that word earlier because I was like, is it pandemic? Epidemic? It's endemic, actually, I think. But yeah, it is delusional and it's scary. It freaks me out. And because when I realized that this isn't just Chad and Lori just cooking this up, okay? No, it's not. The conspiracy is much bigger. And um and so I always because I never could really explain things, but I could just picture it. It's like this church, this corporate Jesus is pumping these kind of people out, these Lori and Chads, 2 by 2, by 2 by 2, and that is alarming to me. Because there's this entitlement, there's this the God complex. You got your Jason Mao, who is freaking Moroni. You got Tim Ballard, who thinks he is Joseph Smith's reincarnate. You got Lori Vallow thinking she's a translated being. She's Mary Smith, Joseph Smith's grandma. Okay. And some other people. But really, I don't think she thinks all that. I really think this will probably blow y'all's mind. But anyway, I'm gonna go there as best as I can. Let me go get a demonstrator. I saw it earlier. Excusez-moi. I think I did, yeah. Now, I can't play the music in it because it'll copyright me, but it freaks me out. But that's what it is. It's the Gadian robbers, y'all. Let's see. Where'd it go? Let me look in another playlist. Let me get out of this one. Oh. Home. Let's see. My back needs a pop. Playlist. There we go. Not mine. Oh, yeah. It was laid out differently earlier. Oh, dang it. I hate when things don't just go my way right away. Where is it? It's somewhere around here. And I think I'm going to reach out to Julie Rowe. I really do. And let's just see what she's got to say. I don't know. I'm not buying into it. I'm not going to sign up to the guruship. I want to learn more. I want to know more about the puzzle. Every little bit helps. Where in the hell did I see it? This is going to piss me off. Oh, nope. Welcome to difficult. My bad. Oh, well. Was it this one?
If you did something bad
yesterday. Listen. This hooker.
yesterday, the Lord wants you to say you're sorry today and just do better tomorrow.
Point is that after making a mistake, we need to face up to it. We need to tell the truth. That is integrity, telling the truth and honoring promises no matter the consequences.
Chad, do you have anything to say?
Oh, sorry. I thought that was just a snippet. It scared me. Oh, I can't find it. Let's see. It was like, because it was right before I came on, and it was like right here. I don't know what it's called. Besides, oh, look, I have it right there. Let's see if it's in my difficult. No. I'm much better at doing things from my phone. That obviously, right? Okay. Well, I'm just not seeing it right away. What list? See, I named this playlist Mormon Stories Broadcast because it's Mormon Stories Podcast. And then, anyway, so I need to clean these up because this is horrible. Let's see. What the heck, man? Oh well. I hate giving up though. It's frustrating. So anyways, I think their court date for Jody and for Ruby, I want to say it's September 8th. So I will live stream that here. And then we have September 14th, which is Shanna Gardner Fernandez. You know, she's fighting extradition for the murder conspiracy. It's just like, I'm telling you, it's just like Melanie Pulaski and Brandon. And I'm just like, oh. And I'm so interested to see if it's going to be like interstate, you know, because they cross state lines with so many things. And it's just, it takes one, and then you know what I mean? The next one carries it a little further. The conspiracy, it's in motion, and each one furthers it. And when I was reading over the documents, the Gilbert documents the other night, I get so excited whenever I read them, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like right here. It's it's like bam. But then I'm not good at scheduling things and like staying on topic. Obviously, it's not my thing. I'm more of I like to just go where the conversation goes, or wherever the mood goes. And anyways, hell, I don't know. I'm looking. Hold on. James Celeste. Oh, here, y'all can see this. Y'all can see this one. I haven't. It's just y'all have already seen. It's just they're mashed up together. Look, my rabbit. I hope y'all can see. Y'all can't.
We're talking about the list. She uses words like booyah and delish. So true. She's got style, she's got style. I married a handsome guy. She laughs at a banana and wonders why. Oh, we love Eminem. We wanted to say today, our sweet Eminem, happy birthday. Hey, beautiful, funny, we love our girl. She loves to bake and loves to blog.
What's gonna work? Teamwork. What's gonna work? Teamwork. We're on our way. Save the baby pigeons the rest of the day. We're not too big and we're not too tough, but when we work together, we got the right stuff. Go Wonderballs! Yay!
Oh, that was goofy. Anyways, I thought I'd find it by now, but I didn't. So I'm just gonna let it go. Allegedly. Oh my God. Okay. That was so loud. But yeah, so oh, what the hell? So, I mean, I read the documents, and then if I could go live right at that moment, oh my God, it would be the best, you know? Because there's this block of FOIA docs, you know, from the Gilbert, from Brandon's case. And it's interesting, you know, because I'm just like, oh my God, when you read it and it flows like that. And then I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. You know, you don't have to do anything fancy. You don't have to do anything. You just read it. And then it just, I don't know, it makes things click for me. I don't know how it does for y'all, but as long as you say the right thing, you can spread your legs. She is disgusting, huh, Nicole? Hey, girl. I hope she's getting it in prison. Oh, thank you very much. Right? Oh, mine too. My dad and brother and cousins would wrestle, but there was no hitting or slapping, and they all seemed to be laughing. That kid wasn't laughing. I know. I think it's like her brother or something. I mean, she was like waylaying on him. Oh, yeah. She is so gross. I don't know. I just still am like, how did we get here? Like, okay. It still just doesn't feel, thank you. It doesn't feel real a lot, you know? Anyways, so the case number, you can't find the case number. I can find the video title if Krisha will allow me to share it with you. What you got, girl? What you got? I'm going to rewatch her sentencing to make myself feel better, along with the short that caught her being put in the car and whisked away. Right? Love that. Yeah. That was so good. Because she cannot walk in chains. Bitch can't walk at all. Bitches be tripping. Oh my God. Yeah. That's why she was running into walls and stuff. Will Charles and Brandon's cases be together? I don't think so. Because they're two different separate ordeals. I don't know. I wonder, like, not about that, but I wonder about, like, I feel, and me and Jason talk about this all the time, right? You know, and we just try to figure out, Jason's like, and he's played chess before, and so I'm like, I just know what a chessboard looks like, you know? I can play checkers, but that's about it. But I know that this is a chess game, and Arizona and Idaho, they've been in lockstep, you know, this entire time. I mean, Lori, we weren't even out the courtroom yet from her sentencing. I mean, from her verdict, and there, bam, you know, Arizona's coming for her. You know, we're just like, oh, okay, well, that was quick. It's like we couldn't even. I mean, I say that, but that's just how all the information has always come this whole entire time. It's just like it just comes at you and it just slams you. So you're trying to just process what just happened, and then boom, here comes the next thing. It's always like that. uh I know. I know. I know. But then I'm like, you know, they just weren't taught any better. I really think that's a cultural thing too, you know. Big time. And I think I made this thing for Tammy. I just need to oh, I had the little death wheel on my phone too. I just need to upload it. But I'll let you hear a little part. Low disk space. I always have freaking no room. Story of my life. Okay. Hopefully. Where's my little speaker? Because I played that podcast for y'all last week, and I always go back and watch these whenever I'm done, just to check myself. And y'all couldn't hear it. And I was like, well, damn, nobody even said anything. let me hook it up to this one. Or no, there's this one. Okay. I just need a damn speaker. Bloop. Come on, marry up, wife up. JBL. Okay. Okay. All right. But so I'll give you a little, and I put in honor of Tammy Douglas Daybell. And then I put pictures and like video to it.
Then my biggest job here on earth is to nurture my children and to care for them so that I can disappear. Why am I working on all of these qualities? Because I am not needed in the afterlife. My Heavenly Mother does not answer my prayers or suffer my needs. Amen with that. My Heavenly Mother is absent, vacant, lost, gone forever, never to be heard from again. And so it's very shallow to tell me that this is my God-given role. It's just to vanish. And as you see this, I think, the higher men get in the church, the more their wives just disappear. There are no state funerals for their wives. There are no accolades for them. They don't have a prominent position. They just vanish. The best wife is sitting in the back quietly, just helping her husband shine. And that's so offensive to me. What do I aspire to as a woman? What? I can be a good mother here on earth. I get that. And I enjoy that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my children. I absolutely love nurturing them and loving them. But I'm just preparing them for the day when they can be loved and nurtured by men only, because I will not exist for them ever again. And I wish there were answers. I think, how do I answer this? In fact, that's my biggest reservation. And it bleeds into so many of the other remarks that were given that day, because we had Elder Nelson, just women, we're going to need you, on and on and on. And then all the way to Elder Holland's Behold Thy Mother, which is the topic of mothers is so filled with emotion. But, we have this glorified, perfected version of what a mother does, and that is really unattainable. Essentially, you cannot succeed as a mother, and you can't feel successful about your efforts unless your children are 100% in the church all the time. And you should give everything to make sure that they accomplish that. For every woman, that's impossible. So you've set everybody up for a problem that they'll never be able to surmount, a mountain they will never be able to climb. And I find it laughable because we do believe that our heavenly parents lost a third of their children in the war in heaven, which means that our own heavenly mother is a failure, 33% of the time. So I don't know why we have this 100% kind of attitude about it, and that anything less means you're a failure, but that's what we preach all the time. But you can tell me that this is my job, but I just no longer believe it. I just no longer believe that it extends beyond. And when you come and preach to me and tell me that you, as a man, understand, the fact that you don't call in the wife to the quorum of the 12 tells me you do not understand. And you are not listening, and you probably don't care.
Boom.
Does this sound to you like an organization that doesn't value women?
Damn right. Anyway, so I gotta finish that. And I forgot I started on things, and then I'm like, oh yeah. But when I heard that section, I was like, oh my God. It's devastating. It's tragic, because it's like her kid, I don't know. That's part of this cultural thing, is the patriarch and the women being submissive. And I mean, that's fine. I do not desire to be a man and do what a man does. Okay. That is not my, I mean, I just, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to pick up heavy shit. I don't want to be working on, I don't want, just, you know what I mean? I enjoy my role. I don't look at it as one or the other. One's more important than the other. They're both just as they're both needed, you know? Hell, I mean, we need more than that. We need a village. um, but anyways, there's so much to get into though with all the Mormon murder, blood atonement, the Mountain Meadows massacre. There's so many things that factor into what we see playing out today. And I mean, I was always like, I am not learning their stuff. You know? Well, you don't say shit like that because then you are gonna be learning their stuff. And then you're gonna damn like it, you know? Because it's important to learn the history and who's who. And I'm like, President who? He's not one of the, one of the presidents of the United States. I don't know who you were talking about. I don't know who Moroni is. I don't know who all these people are. But in order for me to find answers, I have to. So you got to be careful what you say. My mouth overloads myself all the time. No fighting happens here. Fight was over with when the angel of light was cast out. Mm-hmm. Yep. Right. And then at the end of the day, I really have no clue what is. I don't know. None of us do. Not even those that nearly die. You know, I mean, nobody knows what happens. So, it's interesting though. I'm very philosophical too. You know, it's my mind goes deep and I'm like, oh, what about this? Did any of y'all see the blue moon? Once in a blue moon? I saw it the night before and I saw it the night after, but I didn't get to see it the night of. I'm always never punctual. You know this. So, oh yeah. Good night, sit and spin. It's 4 a.m. Oh God. Oh my God. Jason, well, I don't know. We went to Walgreens and they didn't have okay. I need to go check on him. Yeah. He has a herniated I can't remember. A herniated something in his throat, y'all. I'm like, what is that? A hiated? Because I always say he's going on a hospital hiatus. And he's like, it's a herniated. I don't know what he said. I'd have to read the papers and then sound it out. You saw it at a telescope. It was spectacular. Had a stunning view of some messier catalog items too. I love my telescope. That reminds me, Justin Lum had asked me like in 2020, what he could get my parents for Christmas. And I was like, I was just like, I mean, because they have everything. They're those kind of people. Like you go to buy them something, but they already kind of have it, So, and I'm sentimental. That's where I go. And so I was like, name some stars after the kids. He was like, you should, that's not too like intimate. And I was like, no. And so we got to go set that up because he did that and I have the credentials. I just need to go. I don't know how it works. Pick a star, name a star after the Tylee and JJ. He paid for it. There you go, Jay. Thank you. He's got that. A hiatal hernia in his throat. It's because he talks too damn much. Just kidding. Oh, it was great. Saw Saturn II Stellarium app. Oh, that's neat. That is interesting. Well, thank you, Jay. Yes, I do need to check on Jay. Jason. Thank y'all for just being here. Obviously, I just needed to bump my gums tonight. But I mean, y'all, everybody pretty much on this channel, it's going to tie back to Lori and Chet. That's what I do. I orbit around and I loop it back, and I just kind of, it's like I crochet it in, and I'm like, oh no, this piece don't, no, let's back that one out, that don't fit. But it's like solving a puzzle in a circular kind of way, like a 3D printer. I watched an old show, like an old investigative, the old murder shows. Anyways, and they built up a skull because they couldn't reconstruct the woman's face, the skeletal, because it still had flesh on it. And so they would have to have melted that off of her. I was like, oh my God, it's horrible. To get to the bone to reconstruct her face to see who the woman was. And so they did it. This is back in the 80s, right? Or 90s. You could tell. And the 3D printer thing had just come out, and it took like so many days to reconstruct it, but they did it. And then they had to put the clay or whatever on it. It was pretty interesting. But that's basically what this is. An old school 3D printer. Just filling in the puzzle. So, my love to you too. Thank you so much. Thank you, moderators. Thank you. And by moderators, I mean Donna. I mean Trace. I mean Beach Bum. And Mary. Mary, quite contrary. But thank y'all so much for being here. And I don't know. Been feeling kind of spunky again, thank God. I don't want to. I'm just gonna say, if I don't know if DJ can, because we were gonna do a pre-record Friday night, but he's going through quite a bit. Right. Oh, they're supposed to cut her hair. They G.I. Jane her ass, but they don't. I don't know. They didn't in that picture where she had her white wedding band on. Hooker. She's a hooker. What was I saying? Anyways, I don't know. Oh, DJ. Because he's got the ritual murders, the dates of Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, Joe, and all kinds of other people figured out. The ritual murder dates. It's fascinating. But he's got a lot on his plate. So as soon as we can get together, then I won't do much editing, and we'll premiere that. And then I kind of gave up on Visions of Glory. I didn't give up. I'm just I hate reading out loud. I do. I hate it. So I bought the audio version so I can just do it like that. Just put the audio version out there. But I don't want to get sued either. So I don't know how to do this. I can do it in increments, but because I want to also read together with y'all, whether you've read it before or not, Chad Daybell's autobiography is interesting. I mean, now, with the lens of what you know now, and you look back and you're like, oh my God. So, and I've not read Melanie Gibbs' book, and there's a whole that movie that Jason Mao was in, maybe we can do like a watch party. I don't know how, but we'll figure it out. Maybe. When you say hooker, well, it's what she is. So she's a damn hooker. Anyways, hookerella. All right. I love you guys. Love always wins. Justice for Tylee. Charles. Let me see if I have any. Oh, yeah. And just a reminder. Oh, let me move that comment real quick. Jarrett Brooks. He's still missing. He was last seen in Joseph City, Arizona, on Boyce Drive of all places. And he's been missing since July 4th. And that's in Arizona. But anyways, here's the flyer. You see it. Just wanted to remind y'all. I had made a shorter version of that video for him and then forgot to put it on public. And I was like, well, dumb. So, yeah. All right. That's it. So love you guys, and we'll see you next time. All right. Love always wins. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. See you next time. Bye.